Hello dear students, let us continue with the lesson, the summit within. So last time I discussed with you regarding what Major HPS Ahluwalia actually thought after successfully achieving his feat with Mount Everest, and you can understand up to here that the climbing of the summit created a deep impact, or it left a deep impact or impression on HPS Ahluwalia's mind and soul. And today we are going to see the rest part of whatever HPS Ahluwalia wrote after he, that is, wrote about his experiences. He says, consider a typical climb towards the summit on the last heights, that is, when the last heights of the summit remains, like 500 meters or 600 meters or 800 meters. So that climbing, the last height of the summit, is considered to be very, very difficult because you are about to reach at the top, and it is said that most of the mountaineers, they get lost just when the last lap remains. So that is a very crucial point. So you are sharing a rope with another climber. That is, the moment you reach to the last heights, what you do, that you share your rope, whatever equipments you have, with another climber, that is your co-climber. You firm in, that is, you make yourself very firm so that you don't fall, because there at the height, the volume of ice is very much. So, and the weather is also unpredictable. So you have to firm in, you have to be very strong at that time. He cuts the steps in the hard ice. That you cut the steps in the ice with your ice axe. You cut the steps and then you just put one step after the other, and thereafter you reach at the top. So that is a very crucial point. Then he belays and you inch your way up. That is, how the climbing is done, you cannot do it individually. You have to take help from the other climbers. You also help the other climbers to reach the last height. So here this collaboration and cooperation goes on. Then he belays and you inch your way up. That is, he fixes a rope and then you inch your way up. So inch by inch, step by step, you reach the summit. And this happens when you come at the last heights. The climb is grim. That is, the climb is very serious. You strain every nerve as you take every step. That is, you just push yourself very hard. You strain all your nerves in order to reach the height. Famous climbers have left records of the help given by others. They have also recorded how they needed just that help. So without help, you cannot reach the height of success. You need the help of other people. You need the help, like in life also. If you want to achieve something grand, 90% of things you can do on your own, but when you are very close to your success, obviously you have to take help from others. That you need mental support, you need a backup, you need a kind of comfort. You may feel very nervous, so you want others to depend upon. So that happens. So the famous climbers, they have also recorded how they needed just that help. Else they might have given up. That is, else they might have just left from that particular area, that is from the last heights. Breathing is difficult because oxygen level comes down. You curse yourself for having let yourself in for this. That is, you start calling names to you. You start saying bad things to you for taking up such a challenging task. You wonder why you ever undertook the ascent. That is, why you ever started to climb up. There are moments when you feel like going back. That is, obviously, when you are just at the last lap of your success, that is finishing, when you are going to reach the finishing line, all your energy, everything, they are just finished, and you feel like stopping over there and you feel like going back, isn't it? So it would be sheer relief to go down. Obviously, it is going to be an absolute relief to go down instead of up, but almost at once you snap out of that mood. That is, you come out of that mood. There is something in you that does not let you give up the struggle, because you have put in a lot of effort throughout in order to reach that height. Now you cannot leave your struggle in between, or just when you are about to reach the finishing line and you go on. This is the only thing which pushes you, that is to move on and on and on. Even if your energy drains, your nerves are weak, you feel very tired and exhausted, but still you have to go on. Your companion keeps up with you just another 50 feet or 100 maybe. You ask yourself, is there no end? You look at your companion and he looks at you. You draw inspiration from each other. So without collaboration, without cooperation, you cannot finish, you cannot reach up to that finishing line. And then without first being aware of it, you are at the summit. And just you see that finally you climb the summit. You are at the summit. And you are not aware of that also. Looking round from the summit, you tell yourself that it was worthwhile. That is, when you have achieved success, and when you are on top of it, then you realize that whatever effort you put in, everything was worthwhile. Other silvery peaks appear through the clouds. That is the view from the view of the Himalayas from the top of the Mount Everest is something which you can cherish for your entire life. That is, the view is so beautiful, you feel as if you are in heaven. And very lucky few can get the chance of experiencing that particular moment and to see that view. And for that, you have to give a lot of effort. You have to put your life at stake also. If you are lucky, the sun may be on them. The surrounding peaks look like a jeweled necklace around the neck of your summit. Below, you see vast valleys sloping into the distance. It is an ennobling, enriching experience to just look down from the summit of a mountain. So it is such an ennobling that it enables you. It is an enriching experience to just look down from the summit of a mountain, a view which you just cannot forget for the rest of your life. You bow down and make your obeisance to whichever god you worship. That is, you say thanks to whichever god you worship, and you show your submission to particular that god. I left on Everest a picture of Guru Nanak. Rawat left, that is, Rawat was his co-climber. He left a picture of goddess Durga. Pu Dorji, he was a Sherpa. He left a relic of the Buddha. Edmund Hillary. So Edmund Hillary was not in the group. He just gives an example. Edmund Hillary had buried a cross under a cairn, that is, a heap of rocks and stones in the snow. And these are not symbols of conquest. Edmund Hillary was the first to climb Mount Everest. So these are not symbols of conquest, but of reverence. That is, they are not the symbols of victory, but they are the symbols of respect to the success, and shows a thank you to the god. The experience of having climbed to the summit changes you completely. That is, after you climb Mount Everest, after you do something of of a grand task like climbing a Mount Everest or achieving a grand success, the entire experience changes you completely. Now, the very important part of this lesson is, which gives the essence of the lesson. This is up to here we see the summit outside in the form of Mount Everest, in the form of any other physical challenge. The physical challenges, whatever you get, it doesn't mean that that it doesn't pose you any kind of mental challenge. But what is the difference? The difference is that in the physical challenges, at least you can see the challenge in front of your eyes. You can strategize, you can plan, you can take help from others, you know the risks which are involved. But what about summit of inside, that is within you? So now HPS Ahluwalia throws light on the topic of the lesson. He talks about there is another summit, it is within yourself. There is another height, another mountain which is inside you. Each man carries within himself his own mountain peak. That there is own mountain peak inside each and every human being. Each and every body has got this mountain peak inside. He must climb it to reach to a fuller knowledge of himself. That is, if we can climb that summit which is inside us, then we can realize ourselves fully. It is fearful and unscalable. That is, it is fearful means that it is something which you have to fear because you do not know the challenges which it poses. And it's unscalable. That is, you cannot scale also. There are many human beings on this world who just die without realizing themselves because they don't want to, because they cannot. It's so difficult to realize yourself, isn't it? It cannot be climbed by anyone else. And here is the problem. When you climb Mount Everest, at least you have certain people in your group and you draw inspiration from them. But when you have to climb your own summit inside, when you are on the journey of realizing yourself, then you don't have the help of others. You cannot draw inspiration from others. You have to climb it on your own. That is, you have to do it on your own. You else have to do it. The physical act of climbing to the summit of a mountain outside is akin to the act of climbing the mountain within. That is, the physical act of climbing the Mount Everest is similar to the act of climbing the mountain inside. The effects of both the climbs are the same, whether the mountain you climb is physical or emotional and spiritual. So what kind of a mountain you have inside? That mountain is emotional, the mountain is spiritual. The climb will certainly change you. So the moment you start climbing your emotional and the spiritual summit, the entire experience changes you. It teaches you much about the world and about yourself. So the moment you start realizing yourself, you will gain insight regarding the world. First of all, you gain insight about yourself, and secondly, you gain insight about the entire world. And this is about the summit within, which Major HPS Ahluwalia rightly says it is very, very difficult task. Though the physical climbing of the mountain and the climbing of the summit inside, they can be similar, but still climbing the summit inside is still very, very difficult. And then he says, I venture to think that my experience as an Everester has provided me with the inspiration to face life's ordeal resolutely. A very important portion of this lesson, the conclusion. I venture to think, that is, he believes, my experience as an Everester, that is, after he has climbed Mount Everest, has provided me with the inspiration to face life's ordeals resolutely, that is, to face life's painful experiences with determination. Climbing the mountain was a worthwhile experience. The conquest of the internal summit is equally worthwhile. That is, climbing Mount Everest was worthwhile, it was worth to be cherished. And climbing the summit inside is also equally worthwhile. And I would say it is most important. The internal summits are perhaps higher than Everest. That is knowing yourself, your emotional and spiritual summit. When you climb that is higher than even climbing Mount Everest, because when you know yourself, you know everything, right? But knowing yourself is a very, very difficult task. It is not impossible, but it is very difficult than climbing Mount Everest. And that's why he says the internal summits are perhaps higher than Everest. It is not only about emotional and spiritual summit, it is also about any habit you take. Like you will find that it is very difficult to change a habit, like getting up late in the morning, going to sleep very late, addiction to something, or any kind of bad habit that you have, the changes in personality, the changes in thought process. These things, when we speak, they seem very simple, but you try at least change. You try to change at least one of your bad habits, and you find that it is so very difficult, isn't it? You can run a 100-meter race, but it is very, very difficult to change a habit. It is not impossible, but it is very difficult, right? So I hope you have understood the lesson, and still if you have any doubt, you can let me know, and in the next class I'll discuss the question and answers till you read the lesson very carefully. Thank you.